Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my channel. My name is Jack. I've got 30 minutes to kill, so I figured, you know what? I've been pushing this live stream for the past couple days. Why not jump on and just chat with you guys and connect with you guys? And if nobody shows up, that's okay too, because it's going to be for replay mode, and I'm just going to probably sit here and just babble on. But let's see. We do have a couple people here in the chat. What's going on, Jen? Thanks for coming in. It's always a pleasure to see you. Eclipse Studios, welcome. Hello. Great to see you. Bob Hunt, what's up, my friend? How's it going, Bob? Necessary distraction. There she is. Did you hear we got that teeth watch party coming up on Wednesday? Yes, we do. At Bearded Entertainment. Excuse me, The Bearded Entertainment. Eric, who's on the past few Halloween streams. We are watching Teeth, finally. I've seen it before, but we're going to have Jacqueline on, who she has never seen it. Stephen Craven has never seen it before either. And I believe Eric hasn't seen it either. I might be wrong. But I think I'm the only one that has seen it that will be at the watch party. And I know it's been quite a hot topic for people to say, why don't you guys watch this? Watch this. So, yeah, we're going to do it finally. What's up, Maverick Media? How's it going? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Sweet. So, yeah, you hear that, Bob? Teeth. We're doing it. We are doing it. So I figured I'd jump on and hang out with you guys for a couple minutes. Again, I have to start work again in 30 minutes, but why not? Let's just do it. So you guys feel free to ask me whatever you want, whatever your heart desires, whether it's cinema related, whether it's something that you want to know about me, you go for it. And Jen said, I'm back for more punishment. Last live stream gave me a hangover. Ooh! That's how we do it. I think it was Maverick that said he was kicking back with some whiskey. I was like, ooh, maybe I should go crack out the honey whiskey. But I know if I have a little bit too much, that's it. Like it wouldn't be a stream anymore. They would have had to carry it on from me. I probably would have just been knocked out here on the desk. That's awesome, Jen. Good for you. What's up, Pluto? Welcome to the chat. Pluto, thanks for coming in. I figured I would just do this impromptu live stream. If you guys want to ask me anything about movies, about myself, feel free to do it, okay? Sweet. Yeah, so it's 2 p.m. where I am right now. It's early afternoon still. What time is it by each of you? I know some of you are East Coast, some of you is you're Central, but I'm here in Arizona. So 2 p.m. And Blucka's in the chat. What's up? Okay, so Eclipse says, how did you start watching horror? Okay, so I've always had a passion for film, but it wasn't until I was about 11, 10 or 11, something around there, I'm estimating, that I saw my first horror movie. When I was a young kid, as many kids are, I was terrified of anything scary. The scariest thing that I have ever done, and this is a little fun fact about me, my father, he used to own a sporting complex back on Long Island, New York, where they'd have like weekly dodgeball tournaments, baseball, softball, this and that. And one October, he transformed the whole building into a haunted house. Yes, a haunted house. It was open on weekends, every weekend throughout October. As soon as the place closed, that's it. They would set up the tarps, set up the costumes and everything. And then that is when the workers who he hired to continue working to play the characters in the horror movie, they'd get all dressed up, and then we'd have guests come and walk through the haunted house. Now, my sister, she loved horror. She would watch all the horror movies with my mother, my father, everybody. I would sit upstairs in my room and I would just watch like Star Wars or something because I wanted nothing to do with it. Nothing. So this haunted house for me, my sister, all her friends, my mom, all her neighborhood friends, and these random people just from around Eastatocket and Stony Brook would just come and go into this haunted house, and I would just work the concession stand because I was too scared to go into it. Even though I helped set it up and I knew everybody that was playing in it, I was too scared. So one weekend, there was one of the characters, the actors, had called out. So my dad says, "Hey Jack, do you want to play in the haunted house?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know. Like I don't want to be around like Michael Myers and Freddy and all that. I don't want to. I don't want to be in the dark with them." So he's like, "Come on, look who's under the mask. Takes it off. His coworker Chris. Oh, his coworker Lauren. Like, there's nothing to be scared of, Jack." So he's like, "Here, I have a costume for you." So he hands it over to me, and it's Chucky. And give it. I'm 10 years old, so I'm quite short. And he's like, "Come on, Chucky, look, it's a mask. There's nothing to be scared of, all right? We're gonna plant you somewhere in the haunted house, and it's gonna be fine. Don't worry." So I'm like, "Okay, whatever." So I go into the haunted house, and I'm stationed with a good friend Mike, who was playing Michael Myers at the time. He was much older. He was in his 20s. He was probably about my age now when he was working for my father. So I'm there with Michael Myers, and we had a guy playing Leatherface in the haunted house. It was one of the trainers that worked for my dad, and we had a real chainsaw with the chains taken out. And whenever I would hear that chainsaw go off, I knew that the people who paid to go into the haunted house were the customers, so to say, were coming around the corner because uh, Leatherface was stationed around the corner, and then you make a turn, and then that's when you get to the main front area of the haunted house where Michael was, Pinhead, and Chucky. I was there. So I had so much fun that night. I was like scaring people. I was jumping out. I was finally facing my fears of these scary horror movie characters. And one time I hear the chainsaw go off and I hear these women screaming, ah, like everybody does in a haunted house. And I'm like, okay, here's my cue. I got to hide behind the vending machine. Right. So I hide behind the vending machine and they turn the corner and they're greeted by Michael Myers. And, Michael is just doing his slow walk behind them, getting up in their faces and stuff like that. And the women start to approach me, and all of a sudden I jump out. I'm like, "You want to play?" And all of a sudden she goes, boom, and knocks me right in the face. And I get knocked out. And the next thing I know, 10-year-old me, next thing I remember is waking up on the sidewalk outside of the haunted house with my father and his coworkers looking down at me saying, "He's coming to, he's awake, he's awake. Are you okay? Are you okay, son?" I said, "What the fuck happened?" This woman took her purse, punched me, and socked me over the head with her purse and ran through the rest of the haunted house. So from there on, I one was afraid to ever play that character again in that haunted house, and two, now having been in the haunted house, I was able to now freely walk through it and I wasn't scared anymore. So some good thing came out of being punched in the face and being Chucky in that haunted house. But how I got into horror movies was, and I believe it was, who was it? Who was it that asked it? Uh, now I'm forgetting who asked it. But how I got into horror movies, Eclipse Studios, there it was. Um, After that experience of, being with these characters, so to say, and kind of becoming desensitized to it, I finally went to my mother, who loved all these 80s horror movies, and said, "Hey, why don't we start watching these movies? We'll start with the original Friday the 13th, and I'm just going to go stand in the kitchen while you sit in the den and you watch the movie, and I'm going to watch from afar so that I could run away whenever I get scared." So she puts in Friday the 13th. We went to Blockbuster and we rented it. Okay. Blockbuster was like on its last leg at this point. And I remember watching Friday the 13th, and my sister was on the couch with her, and I'm just like watching the whole movie from like 20 feet behind, just like peeking around the corner and whatnot. And every time we'd watch another movie, I'd get closer and I'd get closer until finally I felt safe enough to sit on the couch. And at that point, we were up to A Nightmare on Elm Street, which was my biggest fear because Freddy Krueger scared the daylights out of me. Scared the daylights out of me. So we're sitting on the couch, and she actually bought me the whole box set for A Nightmare on Elm Street so we could binge them all. And I remember popping in the DVD and watching it and just covering my eyes like this the whole time. And then when it was over, I felt so relieved that I had faced my fear. And after that, like after Freddy Krueger, that was it. I wasn't scared of anything. You know, I watched Scream, I watched all that stuff. Uh, and so that was kind of like the introduction into the horror genre. One, playing in the haunted house, uh, losing my fear of going into haunted houses, and then watching horror movies. And from there, it's history. Then I started writing my own and making my own when I was like 12 years old. So, for sure. So, that's my story. That's my story. Pluto says it's just after 5 a.m. here. Wow. Okay. Good morning to you. Good morning. What a good way to start your morning, for sure. Blucka asks, Jack, what is your non-franchise? I'm assuming you're asking, what is my favorite non-horror franchise? Is that the question that you're trying to ask? Well, I'll answer it if that's, yeah, your favorite. Okay. There we go. I see the reply to it. Okay. So, on top of everything, even Scream, even horror in general, sci-fi is my favorite genre of film. My all-time favorite series, which has had its ups and its downs, is Star Wars. That will always be number one for me. That, as a child, profoundly affected the way I look at life, the universe, everything, the possibilities that are out there in this infinite universe. Uh, and the fact that like there's this universal energy that just flows through everything. It's like a symbiotic relationship. Like we're all one entity. And the Jedi and their harnessing of this universal energy really changed my spiritual outlook on everything. Plus, George Lucas is a mastermind. That original trilogy is probably one of the best trilogies that will ever be made. So that is my favorite, even over Scream, is Star Wars. That always will have my heart. But right next to that is Scream. But yes, sci-fi, that is my favorite genre for sure. Let's see, what do we got here? Bob Hunt asks, what made you start a YouTube channel? Well, back in 2012, when I started writing and directing my own horror movies, when I was 2012, I was 13. I, with my friend Skylar, created the channel that you're watching now, which was not just Jack Stannis, it was called Horror Flicks 18 at one point. And during our summer breaks or spring break or whatnot, the Easter holiday breaks that we'd get in elementary school and middle school and high school, we would get together and just go around with a little handy cam, just one of those little handy cam recorders that like people film their vacations and personal events on. We would go around and we'd get all of our friends from the neighborhood and we would make movies. That was how we passed the time. Not hide and go seek, none of that, not like sitting on the sidewalk and smoking cigarettes. We made movies. I wanted to, after those of you may know him, my good friend Josh, who runs the stabmovies.com. That's his YouTube channel. He remakes all the Stab movies, the reboots and stuff like that. The fan versions of Stab. I remember I was so young and he had just released Stab 4, his version of it, and I was watching it and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I had just seen Scream 4. It inspired me so much to write a slasher." I said to my friends, I said, "Why don't we make a series of Scream fan films? Let's do it. A series of Scream fan films that take place outside of the Scream universe in this world that we're in right now. And let's do it." I had this costume. I had the mask. The costume that I had was like $300. It had all the sparkles all over it. It was custom made. I was wearing it for Halloween one year and I was like, you know what? We have all this stuff. Let's just do it. So at that point, summer of 2013, we were shooting the first Slash movie, which was my version of Scream, so to say. At like 14 years old, we're sitting here making this Scream fan film. We've got people from I had an IMDb Pro account. I was like getting people from like Georgia and Florida to like drive up for this 14-year-old's production in his backyard. And we're getting these people to come, and some of them were my friends too, and we're shooting this movie, and we released it on September 9th of 2013 after we had a huge backyard premiere of it in my backyard. We invited all my friends and family, and all of a sudden, next thing I know, this thing is like blowing up, and I'm like, "What?" I said, "1,000 views, 5,000 views, 10,000 views." I'm like, "No, there's no way. There's no way." And I wonder if it was because of the hype still of Scream 4 and fan films, especially like people directing fan films with just a handy cam was like a big thing at that point. But still to this day, I mean, it's 2022 and it has like 2.7 million, that first one, views. And I look at that and, I get messages from people every day like, "Oh, you inspired me to make my own." And like when I watched them, I cringe the whole time. I don't understand it. I don't. But it's been a chapter of my life starting this channel and then making Slash 2 and Slash 3 and then, meeting all these wonderful actors and people and friends that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. Um, that it's just changed my whole path. And after I dropped out of film school, I went into film school and then I dropped out because I wanted to pursue a path on plant medicine, studying plants, being a horticulturist and herbalist. And I wanted to, in hopes, get this degree of being an herbalist or whatnot. Horticulturist was the degree, and then traveling the world and using my film skills as a documentary maker, which is still my plan. That's what I plan to do. And if anybody wants to see any of my plant documentaries, you can check out my channel, Powerful Plant Allies. It's got an ankh on it, and it's got all plant vines all over it. That's the thumbnail. And I just finished actually shooting my Sonoran Desert series here, which is going to start releasing over the next few weeks. We're going to get it going, talking about plants that you can use for medicine and food here in Arizona in the Sonoran Desert. But after I dropped out of film school and whatnot, I kind of stopped on this channel for a while. I deleted a lot of the short films that I made. I didn't delete them. They're on private still here. And once I heard that Scream 5 was coming out and, watching Steven and a bunch of the other YouTubers that you guys may know, I have always wanted to be a film. I wouldn't call it a critic, but I guess it is a critic. I guess, right? Because that's what we do. We watch movies and we talk about them, what we like, what we don't like. I've always wanted to be a movie vlogger. That's the word. Where I talk about films, where I connect with people from all across the world and we just chat about movies and watch movies together. And that was the moment back in January where I was like, I have this channel that already has a pretty decent foot in the door from these fan films. I said, why don't I revamp this channel and continue to upload on it, but instead turn it into a cinema channel like you guys all know and are watching now and join us for these watch parties every week. So that's really it. I mean, it started in 2011. Then it continued with those Slash movies. Then I stopped and did my own channel for plant medicine, which I'm still doing. And now I'm back doing this. So confusing story. I hope that made sense and to just come out all jumbled. So sweet. What's up, Carrie? You're a magnificent being, Carrie. It is a pleasure to know you. I just bumped my nose on the on the mic. Namaste to you. Peace to you. Peace to you. Necessary Distraction says, "Are you gonna do a story time about the ghost experiences you had? I have some stories too." Yes, I am in the works chatting with Eric, who's actually coming down here to visit Tucson. I'm gonna take him down to Tombstone and take him to the Birdcage Theater with you. If you were on the Halloween Kills live stream afterwards when we were chatting, I told that story about going into the Birdcage Theater and experiencing and feeling what I felt. So I said, Eric, when you come down here, I'm taking you to that Birdcage Theater, and I want to see if you feel what I felt there. So I'm going to talk to Steven. I'm going to talk to Eric. And after we do that this summer, I'm going to have this beautiful ghost story live stream, UFO story live stream, all the paranormal stuff that I love. Which, if you don't know that about me, I'm a fanatic for anything of the paranormal and abnormal. Anything like that, I love. So yes, Necessary. And I'd love to hear your ghost stories too. What do we got here? I'm curious to know if Jack has ever played around with an Ouija board as a kid or a teen. Yes, and that is going to be the basis of one of my stories that I had. It was probably one of the first paranormal experiences that I've had. But the scary thing is, I'm not going to give too much away. But ever since that happened, one, I have not touched an Ouija board again, and I do not recommend anybody do that unless you have some sort of psychic protection or somebody there to kind of like a shaman or something to kind of set the energy of the journey and really harness it in. But my mother's house has never felt the same after that. Not going to give too much away, but yes, I have, Carrie, to answer that, and it was quite an experience. And every time I see an Ouija board in a movie, I always get chills. I do. So I'm a little behind. What's up, Horror Tory? I'm sorry if I missed you. If you're still in the chat, it's good to see you. I'm a little behind on. I got into story mode there a couple minutes ago. So, what do we got here? Denisha, welcome. I'm doing great. How are you? How are you doing? Wonderful, wonderful. You know what's funny as I was like, I am a night owl. I am up until like 4 or 5 a.m. I have the most energy at that point. That's when I write my music. That's when I write my scripts. That's when I meditate. That's when I do all that stuff. I am not a morning person at all. So I like go to bed at like 5 a.m. and then I wake up at like 12 noon. I know my schedule is just out of whack. And around 1 o'clock, I was like, I don't know if I want to, jump on and do this. I was like, I don't know. I'm not really feeling it, but I don't know. I pushed myself through it and I was like, that's it. You got to rip the Band-Aid off and just do it. Jack, you've been pushing this for a couple of days now. Let's do it. So it's good to see each and every one of you here. Yes, Denisha, the Lethal channel is starting a live stream soon. That's why this is not lasting very long. I'm probably going to go about another 15 minutes and then I'm going to hop over there as well too, for sure. Niagara Falls had this pitch black horror house that guides you with red lights. I started hearing some yelling and got to a part with a bunch of guys fighting in the dark again. The workers with night vision goggles. There's the finishing. Okay. Really, I lived right by Niagara Falls. I mean, 6 hours down when I was on Long Island. Was it a haunted house, like a Halloween horror house, or was it like a paranormal house? That's interesting. Again, I love all that creepy stuff. I do. I love all that creepy stuff. Pluto, somebody else asked this before, but just to answer you again, my favorite franchise movie, I mean non-horror franchise, right? That's what you're saying again? Yeah. That is Star Wars. That is my number one. As you can see right there, I got the whole 4K box set, and I have, from my own VHS copies, I burned the despecialized editions on Blu-ray for my own viewing. So that is my favorite. So yes, Star Wars. Jack is our personal Dawson Leary. Who's Dawson Leary? Who's that? Is that a paranormal guy? I don't know who that is. Let me look him up right now. Dawson Leary. Oh, Dawson's Creek. I've never seen Dawson's Creek. That's awesome. Jen says, I know this is before your time, but have you watched $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman? I have not. No. But if you recommend them, Jen, I'm going to check them out. Maybe we'll do a watch party for them, for sure. That's okay, Blucka. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I just like, I know what you mean. For sure. It's all good. Am I missing anybody's questions? I'm like skimming through this because I want to make sure that I get everybody. But if I somehow skimmed past your question, I apologize, and just copy and paste it again down here towards the end of the chat. I'm like trying frantically to try to catch up to this. Yeah, but Jack isn't an asshole like him. Oh, so he's an asshole. Dawson's an asshole. Okay, nice. I hear everybody talk about Dawson's Creek, but I have not seen it yet. But if you guys recommend it, I will check it out. I love television. Whenever people watch their own fan films with them in it, it's always cringe for them for some reason. Well, you know what, Eclipse, I'm actually going to guess this is the perfect place to announce it. I've announced it before, but I haven't really touched upon it. Starting in June, every week on a specific day of the week, I'm not sure yet, I am going to do live streams, watch parties for my old fan films with some of the cast from those movies, which I've gotten in touch with over the past couple weeks. And I'm like, hey, you guys want to do this? And they're games. So I'm like, you know what? Let's go back and watch them. I haven't seen them in like 5 years. I mean, I skim through them every once in a while because I show people certain scenes that like I like to laugh at and people like to laugh at because it's like there's this one scene, I'm not going to give too much away, but it's at the end of the third one, which is the final film. And we had this like girl cat fight on a dock, and one of the girls grabs the other girl's face and starts banging it into the dock. She's like, how does the dock taste? And we didn't have anything. Like, we just had to like shoot it with an angle that makes it look like her face was getting slammed into the dock. And I had my producer Mike just banging his foot on the dock to make it go bum, bum, bum. And that scene, out of everything I've shot, even though it like was not of any high quality whatsoever, that is my favorite scene in anything because it just shows the spirit of indie filmmaking, that with movie magic you can make anything look real, and it looks like this girl's face is just getting smashed into the dock. It's hysterical. What's up, Steven? Thanks for coming in. Does anybody know that Jack Stannis plays guitar and sings? I do. I had a band back on Long Island called the Jack Anderson Band, which Jack Anderson was the character that I played in those fan films. And ever since I shot those, it's been my friends back on Long Island, they just call me Jack Anderson. So a couple of my friends and I, we got together. I write all original music, very jam band style. I love Grateful Dead. I love Dave Matthews Band. And we would just go around to all these different bars on Long Island every Friday night and just play, and we'd make money. And one of the songs I played was Red Right Hand and Don't Fear the Reaper. And I loved it. I'm thinking of doing a live stream performance sometime on this channel, but I have to work up the courage for it. So, Pluto, are you an X-Files fan, Jack? Yes, I am, and I own every single season on Blu-ray. I love the X-Files. Talk about paranormal stuff and like alien stuff. I love it. X-Files is great. It's a classic. Classic television. I love all things paranormal. Hashtag paranormal live stream. Cheers to that. Cheers to knowing that there's more to life than what our eyes can see. Cheers. Thank you, Jen. I know you commented that you DM'd me on Instagram on one of my stories that I posted. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Jack Scram like cool. Thank you. Thank you. Jack Scram like cool. I love that. Jen says, I played with an Ouija board in a cemetery. Oh my gosh. I'd have to have a little bit of that honey whiskey before I even decided to jump in and do that. But good for you for having the guts for that. Oh my goodness. Denisha coming here with a $20 super chat saying, Jack, you're amazing and a good friend. Jack, you're amazing and good friend. That you're too craven. One question: do you like Final Destination? Premonition are really cool. Start at the beginning. Start at being. I'm trying to understand, but are you asking if I like Final Destination? I do like Final Destination. I do. Premonition. That's a movie, right? Premonition. I gotta pull up my handy dandy IMDb. Somebody answer that. I feel like that is a movie, and it sounds very familiar to me. This is when IMDb comes in. Oh, 200. That's a 2007 movie with Sandra Bullock, right? I've seen this movie. Yeah, that was a good movie. Jeez, I have not seen this movie probably since like 2010. It came out in 2007. I got to rewatch this movie. Denisha, thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you for the $20. I hope that comes back to you tenfold. I hope I read your question right. That's what you're asking? But yes, I love Final Destination. I'm gonna do watch parties for that eventually. That's like on the list. And Premonition, maybe that would be a pretty cool watch party because I have not seen that in so long, so long. Blucka says, I basically live in Niagara Falls. Really? On the Canada side or New York? Are you a New Yorker? Which side? Super cool. Oh. Oh no, you've mentioned liking Titanic. I meant that. Yes, Titanic. That that movie was one of the first movies that I saw along with Star Wars that literally I remember being a child and that movie blew my mind, and I didn't understand the concept of film when I was a kid. I thought that I was actually watching something happen, like these were actually people dying and sinking on a ship. I like just like I you when you're a kid, you just can't comprehend certain things in life, and for me it was movies. And when I watched Titanic the first time, I remember being so mortified but so captivated, and I felt so oddly privileged that I got to watch the Titanic sinking. And it wasn't until my father at like 8 years old explained to me, like, no, 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 this is a movie. This is how they make movies. It's a set. This is James Cameron. He's a famous director. Ooh, my dog scared the crap out of me. Hey. Oh, it's Zach. And it wasn't until I understood that I really fully understood film and grasp it, and it like really changed the way that I looked at things. Come say hi. I'm doing a live Q&A. I'm gonna go for like 10 more minutes, guys. That's Zach. Carrie says, Jack, you need to watch Dawson's Creek. Kevin Williamson wrote it. Did he really? I had no idea. Okay. That's it. I'm done. I'm sold already. Eclipse says, I love that scene of the dock in /3. That Eclipse, that is my favorite. I joke with Kyla, who was one of the actresses in that scene. I joke with her all the time about that scene. I just like totally send like screenshots of her face in that scene to her, and we just laugh all the time on it. It's awesome. So I can't wait for those watch parties for sure. Carrie says, Jack sings a killer Red Right Hand cover. I love singing that song. And I usually do it. I play my song He and She, which is 2 chords. It's A minor and C. And I've transposed Red Right Hand to be played from He and She into it. So just those 2 chords, A minor and C. So I've kind of transposed it and made it my own a little bit. But there was one time where I played He and She, then I played Red Right Hand, and then I played the Scream 3 version of Red Right Hand into it. It was like a 30-minute long jam of just those 3 songs put together, and it was amazing. So, what's up, Jack and Peeps? What's up, Craven Something Scary? I'll see you on the Lethal Collective in a few. It's good to see you. Thanks for popping in. So, welcome, Thayer. It's good to see you. Denisha, I got to your super chat. Thank you again so much. I am so grateful. I pray that comes back to you in tenfold. So, absolutely. And yes, anybody that's watching that's a member to Craven Something Scary, he's got a members only watch party. Steven, if you're in the chat, correct me. I believe it's tomorrow night or tonight. I don't know. But if you're a member, you probably know. Go check that out. Go support him. He's amazing. He is amazing. Blucka says, "What's your favorite horror film that isn't franchised?" Oh, okay. So maybe I misread the first time you asked this. Maybe you're asking like a horror movie that is a standalone that hasn't turned into like a sequel franchise. But that's a really good question. I would probably have to say The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. That's probably it. I mean, even though there is like The Thing from 2011, I still look at that film as its standalone movie, and I would have to say The Thing is probably my favorite standalone movie that doesn't have a franchise that follows it. So, Jen, you gotta DM me and tell me this story. I'm curious about this cemetery Ouija board thing. I'm curious. I love it. I love it. That's awesome. Good for you for having the guts to do that, because forget that. Forget it. Oh man. Um Thayer says, "Did you watch Stephen King's Storm of Century, a 1999 movie? And if so, what did you think of it?" I have not seen it. So it's Storm of the Century. No, I have not seen it, but I will absolutely add that to the list. I'm going to do a post on the community boards asking everybody to uh, throw in your ideas for watch parties, because there are so many movies still, and I've been watching film for my whole life essentially that I have not seen. And that's what's so amazing about this art form, is there's probably movies that are phenomenal that I will never see in my lifetime, so any movies that you guys want to suggest, I'm going to do a post after this live stream in the community boards, and you guys write everything that you want me to pick apart and host a watch party for. And you know what, we're going to do it. We have all the time in the world. I love it. I love it. Blanca says, "Jack always has so much energy." Well, that's the coffee that I'm drinking right now. Usually I'm pretty chill, and I'm pretty just like, you know. I try to bring good energy. I try to. So that's all we can do in this world, is just, keep going and keep spreading good positive energy for sure. Necessary says, "I was dead for 2 minutes." Whoa. And was brought back, made you into the paranormal stuff even more. Well, Necessary, I'm glad that you're here with us today. Bless your heart. I'm glad that you pulled through whatever it was that you pulled through. And I've read a lot of stories from people who have had near-death experiences that have come back with some very, very fascinating stories. So absolutely, I guess the one positive out of what you experienced is now you know that there is more to reality. So absolutely, God bless you, and I'm glad that you pulled through with that for sure. Carrie says, "I was captivated by Titanic and still am." Well, we are doing the Titanic watch party next week. Okay, I apologize about pushing it back. I had some unforeseen circumstances that came up last night, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna celebrate the 110th anniversary next week. Okay, I'm gonna have a date very soon. I'm so excited for that. I'm so excited. I probably will need a box of tissues next to me the whole time, because it's such a beautiful film and the score is so impactful. It's gorgeous. James Horner was an excellent composer. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna get through 3.5 hours together. That's what we're gonna do. Steven says he was a wreck watching Titanic. Oh yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful movie. Beautiful. I hear so many people like make memes and jokes about it, and that's anything in today's day. But I I love that movie. It's stunning. It is the epitome of movie magic, that it literally as a kid made me feel like I was watching 1912, like I was watching this tragedy happen before I even understood film. It can take you out of this reality and teleport you back to that fateful voyage. So amazing, amazing. I saw Titanic in theaters again when it was re-released in 2012 for the 100th year anniversary, and it was such a treat at 14 years old to see that on the big screen. Amazing, amazing. You got it, Jen. Yes, that's it. $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman. You got it. I'm adding those to the list. You asked for it. I'm going to do it for sure. So Denisha clarifying says, "Jack, I was asking if you like Final Destination. The premonitions are cool in the movie. I love Final Destination. I love them all. I do. There's such fun movies to watch. I especially love the first one with that John Denver song, Rocky Mountain High. Every time that death is coming for somebody, it's amazing. And the little Easter egg in there is John Denver, unfortunately, God bless his soul, died in a plane crash in the late 90s. So, the first movie was about a plane that's going boom, exploding, and the kids, luckily, not so luckily, at the end of the movie, but they get off before they take off and whatnot. So I love that. The first one's awesome. I have never thought of roller coasters the same way after I saw the third one. So Carrie, yes, Kevin Williamson is My Writer Guru too. Like so good, such hip, clever, and smooth writing. Sometimes you watch a movie where the writing is kind of like it doesn't feel like it flows, and Kevin Williamson always does it right. So I still have to watch Vampire Diaries. I do too. I do too. Here it is. Steven, tomorrow night, Hatchet watch party for the Cravenites at 9:15 p.m. Central. If you're a Cravenite, be there. Hatchet is one of my is a movie that it really feels like one of those old classic movies. It's very gory, but they go back to the practical effects of things, and I really love that. So, Blecka says The Thing is a great movie. It's a masterpiece. I just rewatched it the other night, and it's just beautiful. The setting of the movie in the middle of Antarctica, like, oh, it's like nerve wracking. So, and yes, Steven has not seen Hatchet. So for you Cravenites that have seen Hatchet, you need to go and watch Steven's first reaction to that movie. I've been telling them about it for a couple months. Like, you haven't seen Hatchet? Awesome. So much fun. So much fun. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go for about 2 more minutes. Let's see. For those of you who know me, know that I am a vinyl enthusiast, so I collect a whole bunch of vinyl records. I've got a whole setup in that side of the apartment, and I have the Scream soundtrack on vinyl, and I was spinning it the other day, and it's just such a good soundtrack. Marco Beltrami really knows he really knows his music cues, and he really knows how to bring in emotion, especially in those first 4 Scream movies. I always say they're some of the best composed horror movies that I've heard. Amazing. Jen says that she's binged Vampire Diaries twice. And Bob says that he loves the Final Destination movies. Yeah, I can't wait to watch those on Watch Party, because we have the 6th one coming out. We don't know when it's coming out, but that one is coming out. And I think I'm probably going to wait for those watch parties until we get the release date for number 6, so that we can all just kind of catch ourselves up together and whatnot. But we have Evil Dead Rise coming up, which I think is coming out this year, right? 2022, I believe, in the fall. We don't know the release date yet, but I think I read an interview saying that it was coming out in the fall. I might be wrong, but we're gonna do watch parties for the Evil Dead movies too, leading up to it. So we got some good stuff planned. Ghostface 1996 says, of all the movies you've seen, what is your favorite? Judging from a movie being a standalone, which this originally was, this was the original Star Wars, 1977, A New Hope, later titled A New Hope. That is my favorite film ever made. That's it. Yep, that movie won Oscars for special effects for its time. It was completely ahead of its time. And I was speaking with Michael, the Carbonite Jedi, who's a friend of mine, and he was telling me about the experience of being in the theaters to go see the original Star Wars. And he said it was almost like a trippy experience because it was something that nobody had ever seen before in cinema. Nobody. That people were so astounded by the special effects that they were screaming at the screen, like out of just sheer enjoyment and fascination. So that would have to be my favorite film of all time. Necessary says, "Are you excited for the Black Phone?" I am. And I have a video plan for that for sure. But yes, that looks amazing. I love Ethan Hawke. In Sinister, he blew me away. Ethan Hawke is awesome. Bob says, I think I heard fall of this year for Evil Dead Rise. That's what I figured, around the fall. But yeah, so that'd be a good little like September, October watch party marathon to catch up. And Carrie says, Jack, I would love to be a part of the Final Destination watch parties. You got it, Carrie. I will keep you posted for sure. I absolutely will. I'm super excited. So awesome. And Sinister was awesome. So scary. Carrie says, I love Ethan Hawke. I was talking to Craven about Sinister on the live stream the other night. And chills down my spine. I'll never forget seeing that in the theaters and just being mortified for weeks after seeing that movie. Bagul, you know what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh, forget it. So, all right, guys. Well, I gotta get back to work. I'm gonna put an end to this live stream. I'm gonna do many more of these little Q&A streams in the coming future. But thank you guys so much for coming in. Denisha, again, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. I love each and every one of you. God bless you guys. You guys are such uh, an amazing YouTube family and community that I am just so grateful to even be a small part of. It's amazing how in the day of technology, you can meet people from all across the world. Isn't that amazing? Like even the guys I do the like Steven and Eric and Destination Station. I've never met these guys in person, and it's amazing how we get together on a weekly basis and we watch movies and talk about movies, and it's just amazing. I agree, necessary. It's a beautiful, beautiful, amazing family. I am so grateful. That's right, everybody. Go check out the Lethal Collective. I'm gonna jump over there. I'll see you guys over there. And yeah, take care, guys. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. Spread those good vibrations all over. Help to heal this world. And I will see you guys next time. Peace. Mwah.